Okay, so back here should be good after a few technical difficulties not focusing on the right plants. This is Cherry Jubilee crossed with White Walker from Kirk. Kirk, I cannot wait to see what this one turns out like, but for a young plant, it is really coming along. Then a couple of my breeding area over here. I like this lip on that guy, so we'll see if that sticks around. It's Wilkerson's White Knight crossed with Saurus, so could be a pretty good size one. What else we got here? That's probably another Saurus hybrid from the looks of it. Peaches from this side. Here's the, ooh, I think this is, what is it? Titan crossed with Black Widow Clone 2, which seems to be a pretty nice one so far, one that I bred myself. Here's another kind of cool one. Not entirely sure what that one is, but we'll have to look it up. One that I bred as well. As we come on around, we see some more Flava, Morii, Leucophila. I would say these are other ones that I've bred relatively recently. This one I'm really liking. Like, I don't know if that color comes through. Let's see if we can focus there. But that's a pretty nice looking plant. Let's see what it is. Saurus open pollinated, done by myself. So I know I sent out some seed of that. So it was just Saurus as the female pod parent, and then who knows what that crossed with, but when you can get that white top and super dark picture, it's pretty nice. Then we have a new Albamensis. Got this one from Dale Schaefer on the open day. That was super nice of him to bring it up. Ooh, and then I'm really loving this Rosia from Baldwin County, Alabama. It is just a spectacular fat plant with some nice tubby pictures. But this one's a pretty new arrival. I think Kirk sent this one to me last year. But looking pretty good, along with a few other Chipola giants on this side. Then we have like the Venus Flytrap sales area. And again, not the best Venus Flytrap year ever, but I've seen worse. Just a little disappointing. They're not near as perfect as they were last year. And we'll come on and cross on over, get to the other Sarracenia side. We have a pretty tall Black Widow right here. It's a beautiful plant. What do we have? Ooh, another Saurus. That one's a little division that I think I have this one on the CPR right now, so that's the one you would get if you ordered it. Then we have the improved Black Veins F3 from Mike Wang. Pretty good looking plant there, if I do say so myself. And as we come on around, we have some Temperate sundews here, even a couple Genlissia even, that are actually just about to flower, so that's first flower under my care. Some of these are the Purpurea Tattnall County. These ones originally came from Mike Wang, and I think I have those on the CPR as well, so looking pretty solid. Then we have some of these Micheliana. Can't remember the exact cross, but I think it's Tattnall crossed with something. I know I got them from Kirk. Man, they're looking good. That nice roughly leaf. They don't get huge, but they look amazing. As we go on the top, here's the Hurricane Creek Clone F. Losing kind of my summer pictures now, but this might be my first what I would consider fall picture, but already pretty darn good size. Most people would consider that the best Hurricane Creek clone in cultivation, and I would tend to agree with them. Then on this side, we have this beautiful Alba. I think this one was originally bred by Christian Klein. Just produces brilliant white traps all summer long, and then I get the nice shaped ones in the fall. And as we come around, I think that one is John David King, bred by Mike King, of course. This is a beautiful Areolata. I think this one's known as the white flower clone. Only had it a couple years now, and it's finally starting to come into its own. Get these really nice pictures with a red flush and a newly opened white one. Okay, as we move on around, another royal ruby. Then we have Juditip soper down there, which has great color and is really good for breeding. Another black widow here. So this one, if it can even focus, it's super dark. Yep. As we move on around, this one is Vampire Queen, which is a super famous plant that has a beautiful, brilliant red throat. And I know I crossed it with something this year. Let's see. It should be a good one. Ooh, with Imaciricon. So that one should have a really nice deep red throat. As we continue around, this is the Cook's dripping lid from Mike King, and it's been one of my favorite flavas. Not a whole lot of pictures, but man, that one or two pictures that it does produce, they are just brilliant. This is what, Polaris, right behind it. Really nice red throat. I'm kind of a sucker for anything with a white top and a red throat. Ooh, this is another Areolata, which I've fallen in love with recently. This is, what is it, A28? It's L23 crossed with A28. I'm not sure if Mike did that cross, but I know those are his numbers. This one is the, I forget the name of it, but it's named after a woman, and it has this beautiful pouring lip spout on it. Ellison, let me look. It's worth Kerrison Elsie. Man, that's a nice looking plant. Put that back, and then as we move on around, this is Tyrex here, also a really pouty throated, pouty mouth plant. Really cool. And a couple of these Dan Winter crossed with Leah's. Beautiful, beautiful, like golden color to it. Excuse me. Then we have this one down here, which is known as Fire Pussy. A interesting one bred by, I believe, Daniele. I think it has Leah Wilkerson and something else in it, but I'm not entirely sure. Then as we move on around, we have the big Rigula dentata still here. This is one of the original offsprings from the plant I got in 2006. I lost that plant maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, but the offspring is still coming along, but it's just a battle. So we'll see, hopefully plant some seed and maybe have some new ones this winter, but it's probably about 5 feet tall now, so coming along. Here's the beautiful Wilkerson Red Rocket crossed with Hurricane Creek White F. That is just a massive, massive plant, even in the spring. And then the fall pictures are just something to behold. Okay, we'll kind of keep moving around. Interesting things here. This is Pink Eye, a really interesting Areolata. The spring pictures have just gone over, but they kind of have that classic like pink spotting. Let's see, this is a huge flava. I know I got this one from Mike Wang, but let's see what it is. One of his select from Liberty County, Florida, and it's a head above almost any other flava in my collection right now. Then we have a beautiful one. This one reminds me a lot of Lunchbox. This one Fred P. crossed and sent me some seed a while back, and just a beautiful plant. I think it's Leah crossed with Purple Lips. Mega Mouth, I'm just starting to get some of the fall pictures on, which maybe is my favorite Sarracenia ever made, especially in the fall. And this was its spring picture, so not too bad at all. Sarlacc right next to it didn't have its best year ever, but still pretty good size. Just Mega Mouth would make anything look a little inadequate. And we'll come on around. This is Vintner's Treasure, Then this one is another Mike King cross, and it's one of my favorites, but I'm spacing the name right now. Elizabeth Aiden, I believe, yes. Oh my goodness, that was probably my single biggest picture all of last year, and even this year it's pretty darn close. Okay, kind of move on around here. I'm really liking this one. This is a Mesa Exotics Phil Felice Select. So what is it? Super heavy veins crossed with Mesa Exotics. And oh my goodness, the pictures on this one don't do it justice. It doesn't photograph all that well, but on the video you can see it has that perfect white top and then really nice veining. But it's just an absolute stunning plant. Keep on moving around here. So Chaos is about done with its spring pictures, but man, they get as dark as any Sarracenia in the collection, and now it's sending up its nice fall pictures, so excited about that. Right next to it, we have Alucard. This one is not the Prince of Darkness clone, but it is another beautiful plant. And then we have some of the perps and sits here. A really nice anthocyanin-free perp here. Got this one from the one and only Bog Jesus. Thanks again and amen. On this side, another beautiful cross of Wilkerson Red Rocket crossed with Hurricane Creek White F, I believe bred by Danny Powell. Got it from Carson Trexler a little while back. I have 3 of those clones, with my number 1 being probably my favorite. Then over here we have a beautiful Royal Ruby crossed with Adrian Slack. This one puts on a show first thing in the spring, but we're about done with that picture, but it's still pretty good size. As we come on around, what do we got here? Man, that's a really nice Luke that I hadn't noticed. Not entirely sure what that one is yet. Well, let's grab it and see. Mike King L136. That's just like glowing right now. That is a relatively new arrival, so probably its first good-looking picture I've ever had. Then back here we have some more Royal Ruby crossed with Purple Lips. That's a beautiful clone there. Behind it we have Flava Leucophylla Titan. This one I get some really good sized pictures on it in the fall, and it produces a lot of tall skinny pictures in the spring. Then we have a Leah Wilkerson right here. This is a hybrid that I've been keeping an eye on, seeing if it might be worth spreading around a little bit. These spring pictures have just about gone over, but it produces another set in the fall that are just as good, if not better. Then we have Petrorian's Guard here from Mike King, of course. Then this is probably my tallest Sarracenia that I ever get. These max out for me at around 42 to 43 inches. So they haven't produced their fall pictures yet, but even these summer ones, I mean, that one's pretty darn close to probably 36 inches. Then on around, the super red one is another Phil Felice clone. It's Leucophylla Mesa Exotics crossed with Flava Ornata. Then we have Phil's Giant Minor, an Oca Finokiensis. And just down here we have Potty Mouth. This Potty Mouth, man, let's see if we can step back. Doesn't really do it justice, but it is pretty cool. Then we have Sarracenia Saurus, always in the running for the biggest Sarracenia in my greenhouse. Right next to it we have Deep Throat. This one really needs to be divided and spread out a little bit. That's just so many pictures in one little area. Ooh, and a couple of really nice Bibulus up front. Got these relatively recently from Turlock Carnivorous, and he is just doing some incredible things with the Bibulus. Then we have Capensis Big Pink, and let's see, Adrian Slack back in this corner, and Leah Wilkerson as well. But we'll kind of give you an overview of the Sarracenia, and then I'll be back with a tour of the Nepenthes section. But overall, looking pretty good this time of year. Maybe could use a little cleaned up, but not bad at all.